Good afternoon, Cleveland, Tennessee, and, well, the whole world over, I suppose. Welcome to Wha-Happen with DJ Rick here on Tuned In TN. And before we get started, I'll have to get all this out of the way. Do us a favor, hit the like button, smash that subscribe button, and tell all your friends about Tuned In Radio's new channel, Tuned In TN. Wha-Happen is a weekly news show. Well, news, maybe. I guess that's one way you might put it. It's kind of news, and it's kind of not. So, without further ado, though, today we do have a guest in the studio, and his name is John Erickson. He's John Erickson, and...
You're not.
And there you go. How you doing today, John?
I'm doing good, Rick. How are you?
Well, I'm better than the average bear.
Good.
Got my own YouTube show.
Yes, and I'm glad to be here and to be part of this unique experience.
It's the very first one.
Well, good. So,
Not
very good.
really, because
I'm really
I
happy to be
did
here.
I did the daily news before,
Mhm.
but you know, it turns out that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day, you know, having to stop what you're doing, write a whole hour's worth of news.
Yes.
Well, not really an hour. I only did 10 minutes, but still, felt like an hour.
But now we do worldly news. It's
Some of it's worldly, some of it
local.
not so.
Okay.
You know, bad news. Bad news. Sean Connery died in his sleep last night.
Yes.
90 years old. Sean Connery passed. We're going to get the bad news out of the way first, just so you know.
That really did.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
We've got the audience is going, aw.
Yeah.
That's right. We have a live studio audience here. Studio audience of 3, but they're live, mostly.
James Bond. You know,
I know, James Bond.
I think that's a record for any actor playing James Bond.
It is. He did the most. I should have looked up how many movies Sean Connery did, but it's in the 100 plus
He did.
different movies that Sean Connery did. So.
And then he just took this graceful exit. He decided, I'm done. No more.
Yes. Don't you do Sean Connery?
Well, you know, there's a little joke that I heard yesterday before I found out that Sean Connery had passed away. You know, a couple of women crashed in a plane. They were able to walk into the woods, but they were there for a week. They didn't have any razors. And Sean Connery steps in off a movie set, sees them, and says, I'm here to shave you.
That's good. Ba-dum-bum. Do you have that sound effect, Dave? Ba-dum-bum. You know. Yeah, and by the way, in the audience, please keep your cell phones to a minimum. Is that what I heard out there, cell phones? I heard something out there. 200 He did
movies.
200 movies. That's
Wow.
what I heard was someone's cell phone.
You know, that means
How many? 60 hit movies.
in his prime, he was an A-lister.
Oh, big time.
So that means he was
We
probably...
couldn't afford him, I know that.
No way.
Yeah.
He was working
We can
constantly.
barely afford you.
Ah, I know. 'Cause I can barely afford myself.
All right, on that note, let's get to the news, shall we? I have
I'm
some news, some serious stuff. You know, we're going to...
On to some good news. I hope.
Well, I'm going to put one on my eyeballs so that I can see the news that's fit to be seen, so to
Yes.
speak. Anyways, we've got... first, we're going to start with your political viewpoints. I'd like to get an idea who's on the show, who we're talking to.
Okay.
So, I'm going to take some of the headlines from today, from the past week, and we'll bounce them back and forth and get your feelings on it.
Sure.
We're going to start off with an opinion point. This is ex-representative, House of Representatives, Representative Gabriella Giffords.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about,
Yes.
the one that, unfortunately, they tried to assassinate her, and she's injured and still functioning.
Mhm.
But anyway, her husband is running for Senate
Okay.
in Arizona. Ex-Representative Gabriella Giffords, she says, elect Biden president. He has compassion, toughness, and energy to unite us.
Well,
Now, on the flip side, Representative Jim Jordan says, re-elect President Trump. He's delivered on his promises. What do you think?
well, I think that, you know, we're talking about Joe Biden and him being compassionate. And I did see on the news that he actually had a kid paid to come up and hug him and then thanked him and said, thank you for hugging
Paid
me.
him.
Yes, and said, thank you for hugging me to show his compassion. So, wow.
Well, that's not a very good statement on his compassion.
You know, I mean, I had to pay someone to hug him, but,
Well, I don't know about compassion. I know he likes to sniff hair
and ears.
and
Yes,
ears. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Usually in that general vicinity. But, I mean,
Okay. So, what?
and that's my
All right.
political viewpoint on that.
We hardball politics here on Wha-Happen, I'll tell you what. Hardball. How about Representative Jim Jordan saying that Trump has delivered on his promises?
Well, I find that statement a lot more credible.
Which
Then-
promises do you think he delivered on?
You know, I really haven't followed this lately.
Yeah.
I really have
Been
not.
asleep for 3.5 years?
I've just turned the channel, honestly. You know, some of these things I do hear, and you know, we tend to get really pulled into just the primary candidates, what's going on. So I get a feel.
First off, Trump promised to bring the U.S. Embassy to Israel,
To Jerusalem.
and
he delivered.
instead of Tel Aviv.
Yes.
He delivered.
And he delivered.
Trump promised to reduce unemployment drastically
Yes.
for African-American community,
And he delivered.
lowest in all time in history.
Yep.
Now we're starting to sound like a Trump for president show, which
Hey,
I
I'm-
don't want to do.
No.
We don't want to influence you to vote this way or vote that way.
No. This
But
is
this
just,
is just, you'll get a little out of me. I personally, I'm a Trump supporter, but I will give you both sides of the story.
yes.
And if, I'm going to guess that you're a Trump supporter.
Yes, I was tempted to vote for Kanye West.
Well, yeah.
Well, I went for Mr. T.
You went for Mr.
I
T
did
instead.
go for Mr. T.
Right. I would have voted for Kanye if I thought he had a chance.
Yeah, you know, and that's politics, right? You know,
Well,
when you go and when I early voted and I saw all of those ballots and there's like 12 or so candidates, I've never heard of any of these people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's that many people running for president. I thought there were just two. Or
No,
three if you count
no,
Kanye.
no. Well, I thought there was 4 or 5, but apparently there's more than that.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, all right, so you don't believe that Biden is compassionate?
Well, you know, I'm sure he's compassionate
Mm-hmm.
to certain people, but as a whole, I don't see much of any.
Well, what I found
Emotion.
interesting about that statement was he has compassion, toughness, maybe, but this last part, and energy to unite us. The man puts a lid on his campaign at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, energy, he needs a nap by noon.
Yes, he does, but you
Just-
talk about machismo. I actually did hear this on the news today real quick. He had talked about Trump's hands being small, and so that must probably relate to something else, and of course, Trump's like, I can prove you wrong, you know.
Wow.
So that-
You're taking back, if as Biden so aptly said earlier in the campaign that he would like to take him out behind the woodshed, I'm guessing it won't be a fight he's going to get when he gets out there.
No, he's going to get
He
it.
may get a little more than
Yes.
he bargained for behind that woodshed.
Maybe they're going to arm wrestle like they had spoken.
Yeah,
I'm not
or maybe
sure.
he's going to prove the hand theory wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't
What goes on behind the shed?
It stays behind the shed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Trump tells supporters in Pennsylvania that they can, quote, save the American dream from corrupt forces. And now he's touching on corruption, and he's directly talking about the Hunter Biden scam.
Yes.
The laptop that they found, the emails that are in it, and Tony Boblinski testimony that about meetings they had and that Joe was involved, et cetera, and so on. The media has not covered this. Mainstream.
No.
Fox News, yes. CNN, ABC, NBC, or as I say, MSDNC 13, whatever
Yes.
they call it.
I like that, yeah.
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 They haven't touched it. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is when the whole Russian collusion issue happened with Trump and they started talking about what was going on in Ukraine, they started touching on that. And then they started uncovering that. That very issue was started to be uncovered in Ukraine.
And they
about the
backed
time-
off it.
Yes, and they, as soon as they realized the actual collusion, that's when they backed off of it.
Yeah, they sure
And
did.
thus the media silence.
Well, also, New York Times quoted this morning that Obama officials, 3 of them, had briefed Obama on Hunter Biden's involvement in Ukraine, and that it could become a problem for the Obama administration. Obama said, don't worry about it, Joe's got it under control.
Right.
That's a quote from the New York Times this morning, which I found to be, well, I didn't know Obama knew about it too. Of course, I
Yes.
didn't know anything if I didn't research it. If you don't go online and search out your news these days, I don't know what you're getting, but it sure as hell isn't news.
All I know is, and a friend of mine said this, if you really, and he's like, this is sad, if I want to find out what's going on in the United States of America, I have to go to Sky News Australia
That's where I get most of my
to
information.
find out what's happening in this country on the other side of the planet.
American politics is prime time hit television
Yeah,
in Australia? They think our election is a riot.
yes. I'm
And
sure
the
that-
shenanigans, and that's what he called it. The moderator for Sky News, one of their shows, he said, "Oh, those Americans and their shenanigans," and I'm like, "This is our presidential election. The
Yes.
world." I was embarrassed. I truly was embarrassed for us.
it is embarrassing. I mean, they probably like that better than Jerry Springer, and
And it's getting to be where it's just about like Jerry
Yes.
Springer.
it would
Ridiculously
make you
so.
sick to think about it.
I
Yeah.
know it. It's crazy.
Yes, it does.
Crazy. All right, Sean Hannity. This is a good one. Talks about Michael Moore. You know who Michael Moore is?
Unfortunately.
Michael Moore's
Moore's
got a podcast, did you know?
Yes, I've never actually listened
Oh,
to
I
it.
have. It's called Rumble.
Rumble.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just for kicks, and this was probably mean of me, but the night after Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed, not sworn in, but confirmed by the Senate, I had to listen to Michael Moore on Rumble.
Right.
He's just, it's fun to hear the man cry.
Did he
That
actually,
makes me
did he
sad.
actually cry?
Oh, yes, right on his podcast.
Okay. And he
Yeah.
saw that on YouTube. He was reacting to YouTube videos that were reacting to that confirmation. Yes.
Yes. Michael
Yeah.
Moore, he's something else. Anyway,
He's got a big heart.
he's got a big,
Yes, he
yeah,
does.
he's got a big heart, all right. Sean Hannity says Michael Moore may be feeling deja vu with warning about Biden's poll lead.
Mm-hmm.
He says, look out.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think the polls, I think the polls can be as influenced by the media as anything else that comes out of the media. There are 3 polls that I've heard of, and I can't think of their names offhand, that have been accurate.
Well, it
For
wasn't
si-
538,
No. These polls have been accurate for 6 decades.
and it wasn't Real Clear Politics.
No.
Yeah, those are the famous two.
Mhm.
More likely it was Trafalgar
Could have been, yes.
or the USC poll. I can't remember the
I think that was
second name, but
one
you
of
know why interesting tidbit. The new USC poll that they've changed in 2017, they went a different route than all your standard pollsters that are, they sample 1,000 people, they get their answers, and then they say, okay, well, we only want 10 seniors and we want 10 black youth, and so they go through and drop out the people that don't fit their averages of local polling data already.
Yes.
Then they give you their poll results. Very inaccurate.
Mhm.
USC is now polling with 2 additional questions, and it's getting a crowd mindset.
Okay.
They're asking people on the phone all the regular questions, plus they're asking them, who do you think your Facebook friends, percentage-wise, are going to vote for?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And probably an accurate one.
And then they ask them, who do you think your neighbors and your coworkers are going to vote for? So then they take that information. Now they've separated it out from their polling, and they started this in 2017, actually 2016, and they nailed the Trump election.
So that was the most accurate prediction.
They nailed the Trump
Based off
victory
social media.
within 0.3 of a point.
Yeah.
And they nailed the electoral college votes to the vote.
Wow.
They used it in Paris, they used it in Brexit, they used it in 2018, they've used it 5 times. They used it in our midterms.
Mhm.
But all 5 times, they've been within 1% polling, with those 2 questions only.
Yeah.
But think about it, though. I could tell you who I'm going to vote for, and I might lie.
Right.
Because let's say, and what they talk about, the Trump voter is afraid. I don't want to tell the whole world that I'm voting for Trump, especially if I live in an urban center, New York City or LA or Chicago.
Right.
I might not want to tell my neighbors I'm voting for Biden even. But I don't, that's because I'm afraid for my own personal security or my home security, or, I don't want nobody painting my car, or,
Exactly. No.
whatever. But I'm not afraid of what you're going to do to my friends.
Right.
So
you're
I'm going to
answer
tell
honestly.
you the truth.
Yeah.
So they've put all that information together. It also gives them a broader spectrum. If I'm speaking for myself, you know what one person's going to do.
Mhm.
If I'm speaking for my entire circle of friends, we don't know how many that is, but it's way more than one.
Well, yeah. And you consider all those unique connections via social media, these infinite connections. That does make sense.
And
It's
who
gonna
knows
be
your
accurate.
friends better than you?
Yeah, and, you know,
So their polling has
My
become
friends-
very accurate.
my friends would know who I'm gonna vote for, or
Yeah.
have voted for in this.
My friends know who I'm going to vote for because I'm kind of outspoken. Other than on the radio or on the news shows and whatnot, I try to tone that back and give you both sides of the story.
Yeah,
Which is
which was what we like, we like
yeah.
it.
Well, that kind of journalism, in my opinion, is gone.
It's
I don't know why it went away, but I do know it's gone. You get Fox News will even tell you that they're fair and balanced. No, they're not. If you want to hear the Democrat side, you watch the mainstream. If you want to hear the Republican side, you watch Fox.
Right.
Your only choice for anything objective is Sky News. And they're making fun of that shit.
Ask the Australians, yeah.
Yeah,
We
ask
know
them
what's
down
going on in the
under.
United States.
Ask them down under.
You
They
know
know
it.
it all. Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes. Anyways,
awesome.
that's and on the politics thing, this headline came up, and this blew me away. This is this is a Politico article that I read yesterday, and it was talking about the Biden-Sanders quote-unquote unity platform. When Sanders lost the nomination, decided to put his support behind Biden, he said he would do that as long as Biden met with him and they went over some guiding principles and set a platform for the
Right.
candidacy. And they called this manifesto, if you will,
Well,
the
that's
Biden-Sanders unity platform. I don't know, have you read it?
I have heard a little bit about
It's a
this, yes.
scary document.
It is very scary, yes.
Yeah, well, they outlined some of the things, and they compared it to the 1936 USSR Constitution.
Yeah.
Some of the bits are taken directly from it. One of them, and I'll quote, "The right to work is ensured by the organization of the national economy, the steady growth of the productive forces of society, the elimination of the possibility of economic crisis, and the abolition of employment." The only difference is where it says the right to work is ensured by the organization of the Soviet national economy and the steady growth of the productive forces of the Soviet society.
Yeah.
That's the only two words that are missing. It is
Right.
word for freaking word.
Word for
And
word.
they say, no, we're not communist. We're not going that way.
Right.
Well, it sounds like you're going that way. There's other points in there. There is no Medicare for all in the Sanders-Biden Unity Compact, or whatever it's called, the Unity Platform. But there is, it calls for the establishment of high-quality public option plan without deductibles. In other words, if I say, oh, I want the government to do my insurance,
Right,
yeah, they're going to take it out of your pay,
yes.
but it's still owned and operated by the government
Right,
with zero deductibles.
right,
It's exactly like the Soviet.
yeah. And it's only going to cost you 70% of your taxable wages.
Yeah.
That's it.
For a mere 59% of this week's pay,
I mean, that's worth
we'll be glad to give you an aspirin.
Yeah. I used to know German people that, they
Yeah.
worked for Volkswagen. I said, well, what do you think about your situation? They said, we're paying 70% taxes.
Yeah.
The people next to them were doing nothing and making the same salary, and this is what that,
Well, 2008, Obama and Biden, they're campaigning, we will not raise your taxes.
yes.
2009, they raised our taxes. 2012, Obama runs again. We will not increase your taxes anymore. Joe Biden went all over the country, even in the VP debate, says we will not raise your taxes. 7 months later, they raised our
Raised
taxes
taxes.
yet again. Now we're hearing him, I won't raise your taxes, only if you make 400,000 and higher. You believe him? He's not going to raise our taxes?
I believe that the attention span of this country has been dictated by smartphone apps. In other words, it's 5 seconds, and that's why most people do believe that.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, if I was an African American, I would be tired of getting shafted for every 4 years the Democrats come looking for our vote again.
Yeah.
And then they lock us up unduly. I mean, I don't believe in systemic racism, but I have seen some judges. I have personally seen judges give a white guy 30 days and give a black man 2 years for the same offense. I was sitting right there.
Yeah.
Now but that's not systemic. The system didn't tell that judge to do that. That's that particular white racist doing that because he had the power to do it.
Right.
Now, Joe Biden, he's been locking up blacks for 4 decades. Kamala Harris has been doing it for 3 decades.
Yeah. Kamala Harris.
You know, and now they're coming to the African Americans saying, "Hey, we'll give you equality. We hear you. We'll support your Black Lives Matter." Did you hear? Black Lives Matter, one of the 4 founders of Black Lives Matter, last week came out and said, Joe Biden may support BLM, but BLM does not support another white supremacist.
Yeah.
They won't support Joe Biden.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black. That
Yeah.
would really tick me off if I was black.
Well, yeah, and that is a lot of irony right there. You know, we
Yeah.
want representation, so let's hire, we got 2
Let's get
old white
the
men.
guy we're up against to represent us.
We need
Yeah.
2 white men to choose from.
Yeah, that doesn't make any
It makes
sense.
a lot, yeah, no sense at all.
You know,
It's
but then
irony.
again, where are the African Americans in primary time when Ben Carson didn't get the nomination?
Mhm.
I was really, when Ben Carson entered the primaries, I thought, woo, here's a chance for young black conservatives to really have someone to get behind.
Yes.
Although he wasn't crazy, maybe he wasn't crazy enough. You know, he didn't
Yeah.
want everybody to get welfare and let all the jail doors open.
No. He
And maybe
believed
that
in-
was it, I don't know.
It was this equal opportunity thing, I
Yeah.
think, that got him kind of.
Well, and the thing is, Biden says, you know, Trump is not going to look out for the African American. Historical black colleges and universities have got a 10-year deal. Obama wouldn't give them.
Right.
Go figure. The lowest black unemployment. Go figure.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of white racists will tell you, blacks got a high unemployment because they don't want to work. In simple English, bullshit.
Yeah.
They do want to work. Trump proved it.
Yep.
The unemployment rate is down below 3.5%.
Most of us, I think, like to work.
If given the opportunity, but not all of us want to go to McDonald's to work.
No.
But neither do African Americans. They want real chances at real jobs.
Yes.
And I fully believe, if you give them real opportunities at real jobs, that they would like to have a family and a home and 2.2 kids, and I don't know what that .2 looks like, but I've always wondered. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
another subject entirely. We could do a whole show.
I was visualizing. Give me a second.
Look at it. That's 2.2 kids.
Yes,
Yeah, even African Americans.
Jimmy,
don't
there's
look
John, there's point 2.
There's .2. Yeah. Rides the little bus.
Yes.
So
They
when I used
go
to
round
ride,
and round, kids. They
I had to
go
wear
round and
mittens,
round.
and then they put a helmet on me to keep me from licking the windows. That's no joke. That's a true story. Anyway, now on to other things. Politics, man, I'll tell you what,
Politics.
there are as many sides to the political story as there are citizens.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it depends who you are and what your game is. I mean, farmers got a different opinion than Wall Street people, and us actors and DJs, we just,
Well, you know,
as a lot, actors really blow me away. They're just Joe Biden because every other actor is.
right.
I really think that's a thing. You know they're getting blackballed in Hollywood if they support Trump.
Oh, yes.
Kirstie Alley.
Mm-hmm.
She'll never work again.
Yes,
she can work for
Kirstie
Fox
Alley.
News.
There have been a few more. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
might have
big
been one of
time.
them also.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not going to work either.
Why did you kill Iron Man? Well, he's a Republican.
Yeah, we can't put him on the, yeah, he won't sell tickets now. He's a
No.
Republican.
No, he's done.
That's the thing, though. Liberals just may boycott movies that have Republican actors in them. That's
Well-
what they're thinking. Personally, I don't care what an actor thinks
Well, you know,
about politics.
you wonder if you pull this little this exercise on a solid group of actors and you ask them the same question they would ask the Facebook people. What do you think your actor friend would vote for? And they would be like,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's in character right now.
Yeah, but I
Or
bet
something.
that would be a reflection of their own personality.
It would be.
Because I'd
It
like
probably
to
would be.
believe that Sean Connery was a Republican,
I would.
but I think he wasn't.
Yeah.
I think he was a liberal.
And you know, it really doesn't matter. I love Sean Connery, but that's the way
Yeah.
we should all be. you
But
know,
see, politics got no place in movies. That's my
No.
point.
that's why the movie has come to Georgia and Wilmington, North Carolina, and left Los Angeles, not just
Yeah,
because
because
of
of all
taxes,
that.
but because of policy.
Right on,
So,
right on. And hey, more power to him.
Mhm.
You know, hey,
I'm fine with that. yeah.
bring it to Cleveland, Tennessee. I'm down.
I act if you do that.
I can verify. I've acted with him.
Yes, so we can do something.
Yeah, but see, this is the real John Erickson. He's John Erickson,
Yes.
and you're not.
And yes, that's
missed your
why
cue on
I
that,
missed
man.
my cue, but I was thinking about who John Erickson is.
You know, that has something to say. We were talking about, Gabe and I were talking about, you know, doing this show, and do we need a rehearsal? And I said no.
What's the point of rehearsing?
Well, you wouldn't have missed that cue.
Yeah, I missed that cue, but next time. Yeah, I won't miss it next time.
You won't miss the next time. Did you hear a phone ringing?
I had to ask my agent.
You have an agent?
Yeah, and he said I could only use that line twice in a production.
Oh, I got it. Oh,
So that
there's a
might have been why I
clause.
was hesitant,
Oh,
yes.
so what'd you do, rent
I'm
that
John
drink?
Erickson at,
And you're not, yes.
I gotta get a text.
Well, I have an agent, but she made me say I do till death do us part.
How nice that is, and she's right.
Unfortunately, I haven't died yet. So.
Yes.
Oh, look, now we got audience participation.
Don't even need an applause right here.
Hell, I'm married to half the audience.
Wow.
Yeah.
1.2%.
Without bigamy, yes. Okay, out of politics and into the plague.
All right, into the plague. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Yes.
What do you think of COVID? You don't
Well,
want it?
Two things I love about
It's going to be the winter accessory.
There's two things I really love about COVID.
What's that?
Is that it lets you eat without attacking you in a restaurant.
This
So,
is true. This is true. This is true.
So you can take your mask off because it's like, eat, hurry up.
Yeah.
I don't want to infect you while you're eating. The other thing, have you seen these masks that these people have made that you get a little blood pressure cuff, and this guy's sitting here, it's a Pac-Man mask, and he's like about to chew his food with a fork in one hand, squeezes it, and the thing looks like a freaking Pac-Man.
Really?
And then he closes his mouth and chews and closes the lip, and you see that mask go,
Wow, that is some COVID paranoia.
yes.
Holy
That's like
cow.
driving
I
down
didn't
the
see
car
that.
in the road. The other thing I love about COVID is back not long ago, I have a teacher friend who we were worried, hey, you know, let's send the kids back to school right before flu season starts with the COVID pandemic. This should be interesting. But here's why I love COVID. The news just said that COVID kills the flu virus. Therefore, you won't see any big flu numbers. Thank you, COVID. I always hated the flu.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of COVID, though. I mean, I'm trying not to catch it, but I'm not paranoid of COVID.
No, I'm not
You know.
either. You can tell these people in the car, you know, with
Yeah.
the masks.
Yeah.
And no, it's ridiculous. It literally is ridiculous.
I saw a guy with a Biden sticker on the rear of his window,
Mhm.
and I pulled up next to him at a light, and sure enough, he was wearing a face mask while in his car all alone driving down the road. And I thought to myself, man, you don't need that Biden sticker. As soon as I saw you with the mask on, I already knew.
Now, I already know who you're going to vote for if you're wearing a mask in your car. I know where
already
you're
know
voting.
who you're voting for.
And just really quick aside, this really kind of, it just pissed me off.
Okay, let us
Okay,
know. Let
go
it all
down
out here
You
on
go down
Wha-Happen.
in front of the 5-Point Museum, right?
Right?
Well, apparently the old wooden Indian that used to be in Johnston Park has COVID now.
Oh, yeah? Why, they quarantined
They've got a
him?
mask on him.
They got a mask on him.
Go by and look at this Cherokee representation of our historical society here in Cleveland, Cherokee National Forest, and they've decided to cover half of his face with a gray diaper-looking mask.
Wow. So the Native Americans are afraid of COVID.
Either that or people are racist against Native Americans. I
Or
don't
wooden
know.
Indians.
Or Indians.
Maybe they just got something against wooden Indians.
But that's history. What?
I know, but hey, that's a whole nother show too.
You must
Our
wear a
statues,
mask.
Keep them or destroy them.
Yeah.
That is another show that I'm going to do though.
Yeah.
Because you know, destroying statues and history is part of what we see in political or government overthrows around the world.
Yeah.
That's how it starts.
That's exactly how it starts. Erase history. Rewrite it.
Erase history so that you can rewrite it for children in schools the way you want them to believe. Very common practice. Anyway, Donald Trump yesterday, and all for about 2 weeks now, has been telling people at these rallies that we are, quote unquote, turning the corner. Let me give you a little bit of stats here, latest stats, about turning the corner, and I have to put my eyes back on for this. The latest COVID-19 wave worries hospitals even with new treatments. Surge in hospitalizations reaches deeper into the country, testing some regions' ability to cope. And here's why. The U.S. reported 99,321 new COVID-19 cases on Friday, beating its previous record set only a day prior. According to Johns Hopkins University, the top 5 records in daily cases have all been reported within the last 8 days. Scientists warn that the U.S. is only at the beginning of the latest surge in cases and predict accelerated growth within the coming weeks. I have heard estimates as high as 600,000 dead by March 1st because of the rate that it's starting to spread.
Right.
And on the flip side, within minutes of reading that article, I flipped to another COVID-19 news source and learned a really crazy fact. Did you know that 1/3 of all the citizens in the United States completely believe that COVID-19 is a hoax and it will disappear on Wednesday, November 5th?
Yes. Yeah.
1/3 of the United
And it
States
may even be
believes
bigger
that.
than that, you know. Very possibly more than a third.
It depends what area you're in.
Yeah, it does.
If you were in some very backwoods areas of, and I don't want to offend the state of Kentucky, but Kentucky, even here in Tennessee, we have our, what around here we refer to as the banjo counties.
Just drove through one today.
They believe that it's just going to disappear.
Yep.
Now, paranoid about COVID-19? No, I'm not. Concerned? Absolutely.
Right.
And I'm mostly concerned with what it's doing to small businesses.
Yes.
With our radio station here, we have noticed, early in the pandemic, we noticed 95% of our advertisers disappeared.
Yeah.
And it's been slow coming to get to replace those advertisers. So being a local, and I don't like to say small business, locally owned business, I don't say small because, believe it or not, as a business owner, your small business is anything but small to you.
Well, yeah.
It's your whole world.
It's your life, it's your world,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Yeah.
I don't know who it is. I suspect that it's Nancy Pelosi, but it very well could be Mitch McConnell. The back and forth about this new stimulus package is destroyed. Literally, I have watched businesses close forever, and Nancy Pelosi will stand there and say, well, they're going to get their stimulus package, and we'll make it
Right.
retroactive. Well, you can't eat retroactive.
Nope.
I haven't noticed, my landlord doesn't want retroactive rent payments.
Yep.
He will, not retroactively, but immediately evict your ass.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
are we turning the corner? You really think?
if you look at Trump, who has been exposed and had the COVID virus, and within
And beat
2
it.
weeks walking out with the energy of a 50-year-old man.
Yeah, and he's what, 75 years old?
Yes, and so, yes, I think we've turned the corner. Personally, I do.
Mhm.
I think the paranoia has not turned the
Right,
corner.
and
The fear mongering is what I believe it is. I'm not one of these 1/3 of the percenters who believes the entire thing is a hoax.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you believe that, it's sorry, but that's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, yeah. But at the same time, I'm not going to wear my mask in my car either. So,
Now, I carry a mask in the car.
Mhm.
You never know when you, and when I go into a place, I'll wear my mask in. If I'm going to Walmart, or if I'm going to Lowe's, or wherever I may be going, I wear the mask in there.
Mhm.
Then I see what's going on. Like if I go to an advertiser's place, small business or whatever, I walk in. If they're wearing masks, I keep mine on. If they're not wearing masks, I take mine off. When in Rome, do as the Romans.
It's like
try.
flip a coin, too. You just depends on where you go.
Yep. Well, even if they have a sign out front, and I'll use Lowe's, I'll pick on Lowe's. Lowe's has a sign out front that, you must wear a mask to enter.
Mandatory.
And then you go in there and you're the only idiot wearing a mask.
Yeah. Yes, Home Depot, same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses are like that. They have that.
Yeah.
Um,
In other words, they suggest you wear a mask, but hey, if you're, they almost should put a sign up, Democrats must wear masks, Republicans, yeah, we know you're not gonna anyway. It seems to be right down party lines, who's gonna wear a mask and
Yeah,
who
if
isn't.
that's the case, and
Mhm.
you know,
Well,
it is down party line.
I think we've turned the corner in many aspects. if you're 75 years old and you caught COVID in March, your odds of dying were fairly high.
Yes.
Because they did not know what they were doing.
Right.
They were still treating it with, zinc.
Mhm.
They were trying to use zinc, and what's that other drug they were using?
That was,
No, and it
Zypromax,
wasn't.
but there was also, well,
It was a malaria drug.
yes.
Hydrochloroquine. Thank you to the videographing department over there. Good
Yeah.
job, Gabe.
I just couldn't think of it myself.
Yeah, hydrochloroquine. They were using that. Trump even said he was on it.
Mhm.
People were dying using that. Now, Trump went in, got his treatment. He got remdesivir, and they did the plasma.
The antibodies, yes. with
Right.
The plasma with the antibodies.
That's the
treatment.
remdesivir. No,
No,
that was
that's using-
Regeneron.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah, he got Regeneron and remdesivir. Poof, problem solved. So in terms of therapeutics, I think we have turned the corner. When we get a vaccine, now we'll be preventing it in people, and if they do happen to get it, we have options once they hit the hospital.
Right.
And I think that's what Trump is referring to when he says we've turned the corner. And we need to get out there, get the economy open, back to business as
Yeah.
usual. If you're 70, 80 years old, 90 years old, don't go out in public
Yeah.
for a few months here. Be careful,
Would be
use your
smart.
head.
Yeah.
Things like that, And if you're out there in public, bar hopping, you're in your early 20s, and Friday night is still a go out and party down with all your friends and whatnot, don't go see grandma the next day.
Right. Yeah.
And breathe on her.
Mhm.
Just common sense.
It's kind of a mixed balance, the president did say, he's like, don't let this terrify you, don't let this beat you, but
Yeah.
use common sense also.
Yeah. And Biden
You know?
would have us
Mask
hide in the
mandate.
basement,
Hide in the basement, mask mandate.
lock everything down, all holidays
Nationally.
and birthdays are canceled.
We canceled Halloween.
Bah humbug. But the problem is, when we come out of that, say, 5 months of lockdown, when we come out and everybody goes to go back to work, all the places that they used to work are now closed up and gone. What happens to the real estate market when these people who own 10 homes as an investment, they've invested their entire retirement on rental properties, and none of their tenants have paid any rent?
Yeah.
Now they can't pay their mortgage, everybody's hurt. And then the banks say, whoa, we're going broke, we need a bailout. Whoa,
You're right, 2008, just
Oh,
popping
yeah?
into my head right there.
Well,
Yeah.
the way the government's going, they're gonna wait till it affects the banks, and then they're gonna bail out the banks. What about, in '08, they didn't bail out me. They didn't bail out the people. They bailed out the banks.
Yep.
They bailed out the car manufacturers. We need to bail out the people, but we don't have to bail them out if you let them go back to work,
I know.
Yeah. Just my humble opinion, mind you.
Yeah, I just wish that people in the upper Achilleans would make their mind up about this new bailout package,
Well, it's politics. It's not
It is
about, has
politics.
nothing to do with reality. It has to do with power.
Yep.
How can I get reelected? How can more Republicans get elected? How can more Democrats? Nancy Pelosi, I wouldn't vote for, I'll be quite honest, if that woman was on fire, I wouldn't pee on her if she was on fire.
No.
I swear. That's a way to put it, I guess. I don't know.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Even if I really, really, really had to pee.
Yeah, I'll hold it.
Yeah.
I'll hold it.
I'll hold that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really, I shouldn't say things like that, but hey.
I shouldn't either, but that's how I feel
That's
too.
it.
So.
And she's, I know people, here's the thing. They didn't approve a PPP loan for Tuned In Radio. I didn't ask for much, just a little.
Mhm.
I had 95% of our business disappeared.
Just like that, yeah.
Overnight, within a week.
Mhm.
I applied for a mere $10,000 and got turned down. And I don't understand, because they say they don't do it on your credit, which my credit's not bad. It must have been time in business, but they won't give you a reason. It's not like applying for a loan and they have to give you the reasons why you didn't get it. They didn't do
Right,
anything. They just
don't.
said no.
Yeah.
And there's no process to find out why. Meanwhile, I know personally, and I won't mention the company name, someone who owns a good-sized heating and air conditioning company, and without even asking, their banker went ahead and applied for them anyway, and they got $180,000.
Oh, wow.
But they were still in business,
Yes.
because they're a heating and air company.
Right.
It didn't shut them down, slow them down, didn't affect them at all, and he's like, what am I gonna do with this money? And they told him, well, just pay your employees with it.
See that brilliance? Brilliant.
But he now the money he had for payroll is now his.
Mm-hmm.
So, and no offense to the guy. I mean, hey, good for you. You got lucky. You got over on the government. Good for you. I love to see it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, he's really well-to-do, and hey, we're making it. You know what I mean? We get by. We're just like the rest of the country will. You know,
Yeah.
We're Americans. We get by.
And I think it really is kind of random. I know a guy who, his job was to go to old farmhouses that were torn down, take the wood out, build things, and resell.
Reclaimed wood, yeah.
Yeah, so he applied, got $30,000. That was his business. And he couldn't do it because of restrictions, and he got $30,000 and a monthly allotment. And I can't remember what it
Wow.
was. But that's amazing.
Wow. Did he have any
wood.
employees?
No. No, he did it himself. Basically went to flea markets.
I'm in the wrong business. Maybe
You
we
know,
should
makes you
reclaim wood.
wonder. I mean, how arbitrary is that decision that guys or that these people are making on the other end? Oh, I love farms. I'm going to give them 30 grand. I don't like radio.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And
know?
somebody told me, well, you should have reapplied. You'd have gotten another surveyor and you probably got the money.
That's happened.
That's not
too.
how it's supposed to work
No.
either.
No.
Yeah, but anyways, we got to open the can of worms I'd love to jump into, but we're
Yeah.
not going to do that. Did you know, hey, I got this really cool bit. I'm going to try this out.
Okay.
Because I'm going to try and do this every week. This is, it's interesting. I found it interesting, and hopefully everybody else does. Today in history.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is all things that happened on today, October 31st, back in history. Did you know that in 1926, escape artist Harry Houdini died in Detroit of peritonitis resulting from a ruptured appendix?
Yes.
That man, with all the crazy stuff he did,
Mhm.
and a ruptured appendix
Yeah.
killed him.
Yeah, he literally went up to a guy and said, I can take any punch in the gut you can throw at me. And some guy said, I'd like to try. And he hit him and ruptured his appendix.
And killed him.
And killed him, yes.
Yeah,
And this man could get out of a crack that small.
I know. Handcuffed.
It's crazy.
Hey, when your time is up, your time is up.
1924, yeah, I mean, you know, when your time's up.
1926,
Yeah.
1941, the Navy destroyer USS Reuben James was torpedoed by a German U-boat off Iceland with the loss of some 100 lives, even though the United States had not yet entered World War II. We were getting the crap kicked out of us before we were even part of the war.
And Iceland, I mean,
You know, of all places.
of all places, yeah.
You know why, though?
No, actually, I don't.
They were ferrying war materials, war goods, supplies to the UK.
That makes sense.
We really were in the war, just not officially.
Right, not officially yet.
Yes. Now, this is gory. This is how wacky the Russians can be. In 1961, the body of Joseph Stalin was removed from Lenin's tomb as part of the Soviet Union's de-Stalinization drive. In other words, like we got people tearing down statues around here. Turns out they went in and broke open the tomb and destroyed Stalin's body.
That
Was
is
it
pretty
Stalin?
sick.
Yeah, Stalin.
And it was Lenin's
Dragged
tomb?
it around the street.
It was Lenin's tomb.
That's where they put Stalin's body,
Where was Lenin?
in the tomb. But I guess they were okay with that.
Cool.
Well, I don't know where Lenin was.
That's
but
pretty
Paul's
macabre.
the walrus.
That's pretty macabre.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't mean John Lennon, my bad. I thought you were talking about the Beatles. Mine.
Imagine, just imagine.
I'm a DJ. What do you want from me?
Imagine all
Everything's
the
a music
corpses.
reference.
Yeah.
Long and winding road. I just sang on YouTube.
You just did. I made you do
If
it.
that's what you'd call it. Anyway, moving right along.
time.
1968, President Lyndon B. Johnson orders a halt to all U.S. bombing of North Vietnam, saying, now this is 1968, he hopes for fruitful peace negotiations. Hey, like Obama said, hope and prayer, hope and something, hope and change. You know?
well.
Well, he didn't get his hope.
No, he
Yes,
did not.
but that's why they stopped bombing North Vietnam in 1968.
That was before my time, but I did read that. in
I
history.
actually, believe it or not, I remember that.
Really?
I was just a kid, mind you. I'm not ancient. But yeah, I do remember that. And I remember this next
I don't.
I remember this next one. And I celebrated this next one.
Okay.
In 1975, Queen released its single Bohemian Rhapsody in the UK. by
75.
EMI. 75.
Did it? I wonder what date that was. That
October 31st.
October 30th? Wow.
This
Oh,
day in
this
history.
date, it's October.
Wonder what date that was.
I was just hoping it was May 9th.
It
since I
was a
was 1 year
Tuesday.
old.
It was raining. It was, yeah. Somebody else was John Erickson back then.
Yes, apparently so.
Yes, yeah. In 1984, the Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi is assassinated by two Sikh, it says Sikh, but I think it meant Sikh, security guards,
Yes.
killed by their own bodyguard.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't remember that one either, do you?
I do not.
I do. I was in the service then. That was big news. We actually were put on alert for that.
Hmm.
Anytime world leaders get assassinated, they lock down nuclear bases. And I was on a nuclear Air Force base. So yeah, a little tidbit about DJ Rick. 1992, Pope John Paul, not Paul McCartney, Pope John Paul II, formally proclaims the Roman Catholic Church erred in condemning the astronomer Galileo for holding the Earth was not the center of the universe. We're talking 1992.
It's about damn time.
You want to talk about holding a grudge for some time.
Yeah.
It took him about 300 years to forgive that poor slob. And all he did was say, we're not the center of the universe.
The papery sticks to their guns.
Next
You gotta
year,
get to 'em.
in a further report, an addendum report to that, next year they're going to admit the Earth is not flat.
I don't know, you're going to have some arguments
Christopher
against
Columbus,
that.
it turns out, was in fact correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they said something about gay marriage too, but I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
1998, a genetic study is released suggesting President Thomas Jefferson did, in fact, father at least one child by his slave, Sally Hemings.
I see.
I don't know, really? You believe one of our founding fathers would do that?
No.
What did Mrs. Jefferson think?
Well, yeah, exactly. And, nowadays people get into Ancestry.com and they're like, what? No, that's not right.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know? Some of my ancestors were slave owners of Native Americans.
Really?
Yeah,
I
part
didn't
of
know
my-
Native
part of my
Americans were
family.
ever taken slave.
Yeah, but, that was, I'm trying to remember the study of one side of my family. I'm not even going to name that part of my family, but the last name is Crook.
Wow.
And they were actually, yes, they were.
Glad you didn't name them.
I don't like doing that. But yeah, that's probably why we have actual Native American in our family, because it goes back to
Right.
slave owners back then, and that kind of intermarriage. And
Right. But yeah, that's why so many African American families to this day are named Jefferson, Washington. And that actually stems back to if you belonged to that plantation,
right,
automatically your
you
last
got
name
that
became.
name.
But yeah, there's a lot of them running around out there that actually have Thomas Jefferson's blood running through their veins.
That would be pretty cool if you think about it.
Yeah, the ultimate in white supremacist. Yeah, and that's their great-great-great-great-grandfather or whatever. 1999, Egypt Air Flight 990 bound from New York to Cairo crashes off Massachusetts coast, killing all 217 people aboard.
Wow.
That's when, in my lifetime, that's when major airline crashes became a thing. Well, actually, early, mid-'90s there. That was right after the Lockerbie thing, where that one crashed over.
Scotland, right?
It blew up over Lockerbie, Scotland.
Now, and that 271, if I recall correctly, that was at that time the worst airline tragedy
Correct.
in history. And I actually heard a story about that, about a guy who was really upset because something got messed up with his ticket, or he couldn't get a
on the
certain
plane.
seat. So he was in the complaint line, and and apparently this happened very shortly after takeoff. Well, I guess it went to Massachusetts, right?
Yep.
He ended up not getting a refund on that ticket. He took that ticket and put it on his wall to remind him why he's still alive.
If I was him, I wouldn't fly.
No, I don't.
Although it is safer than driving a car.
It is.
It really is, by far.
I still feel safer in a car, though. I don't.
Yeah, but that's
you
just
know.
misleading.
Yeah, it
You know,
is.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. In 2013, the Federal Aviation Administration issued new guidelines allowing airline passengers to keep their electronic devices turned on throughout the entire flight, but not to talk on their cell phone.
Wow.
And probably just because it'd be rude.
Probably, but I remember.
I got to think about that. You go to a restaurant and some idiot takes a phone call and he's sitting there yelling at something. I think the airlines were just trying to be polite.
Yeah, they probably were. I mean, I think I had a pilot once tell us, he was like, please turn your phones off or the plane will crash.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I used to think, if you have your cell phone on, that it's gonna really screw the plane up. The computer's gonna mess up and.
That's
you're
what
gonna-
everybody thinks. That's what the FAA thought for a
believed it.
while, yeah.
I believed
I heard a pilot one time, he came on the thing, and he, a real jokester, funny guy. He came on the thing, attention passengers, we've lost engine 1.
Oh, Lord.
Everybody go, no, then he goes back on, attention passengers, we've lost engine 3. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, we lost engine 4. But that's all right. I'm told that engine 2 will carry us all the way to the scene of the crash.
Wonder, is that guy still flying a plane,
Yeah.
you think?
Well, yeah, we made it. Anyways, I wasn't really on that flight.
Well,
Good friend told me.
wow. I'm
He was
just trying
talking to
imagine
someone on their cell phone. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, on that note, I found some weird stuff. You know, when I did my research for the news show, I come across some weird stuff.
I like the weird stuff.
And I thought, hey, let me take some of this down. We'll end on some, well, maybe not a good note, but a weird note.
It's a weird note.
Yeah. This one is seasonal. It's Halloween today. I thought I'd do something seasonal. And this is in Montclair, New Jersey. My ex-wife lives there. Anyway,
Oh, New Jersey.
didn't really need to go there, did I? Damn.
You did.
Animal control officers in Montclair, New Jersey were alerted to a wildlife emergency on Tuesday after concerned residents reported seeing a deer running through town with his head stuck in a plastic pumpkin decoration. That must have looked like. You think? Yeah.
You know,
I
my-
just pictured it and I thought, wow, that must have been. Anyway, they did rescue the deer. They actually tranked him. They darted him and popped the
The
pumpkin
fact
off
that
his
that
head.
deer lived.
Yeah, he had a vampire mask on under that. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's true story. That's true news. Real headline.
That's just real weird, true stuff. That's
Yes.
crazy. Wow.
Newspaper in Minnesota, woman's obituary says, in lieu of flowers, do not vote for Trump. I don't know why that's funny, but it's freaking
It is.
funny.
That is
People
funny.
get carried away with this politics. This poor woman is dead, but she's worried about who gets to be president.
My dying wish is that
If
he
she-
not be president after I'm dead.
Yeah, there you go. Hey,
Well,
it's
you know,
real
some
news.
people
I
feel
found this
real
in the news.
strongly
I found
about
it in the news.
yeah.
Oh, here, I was looking through the classifieds. Looking for news, not because I'm looking for a job.
Yeah.
I like where I work. It's good. It's easy work, kind of. Anyway, this is in the classifieds. And it's in an internet classified, so it's a little weird to begin with. But this is wanted cemetery superintendent. Now hiring, reads the classified ad. Cemetery superintendent. The ideal candidate must be able to supervise in a fast-paced environment.
Wow.
You know? Wow.
Wow.
So they must be pretty quick at Halloween, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's what it says.
That would make me actually
You can't make
want.
this up.
That'd make me want to apply just out of curiosity.
This one is like this week, Monday, Washington Post, page 7A. First microbes breathed sulfur before it was cool.
First microbe breathes sulfur
Before it was cool.
before it was cool.
Like, I guess it's cool now to breathe sulfur.
Oh.
I
I got you before it was hip. I was looking at the temperature.
Yeah.
What's
I
that?
think what they mean is, you know, the earth was really hot.
See, I was thinking geologically to begin with.
Right, with all the
Okay.
steamy, you know, the ooze that we all came from.
Right.
You know, but the first microbes didn't need oxygen, they breathed sulfur. But the way they wrote it before it was cool, so now like it's the hip thing to, never mind.
It's come full circle. You breathe
I
sulfur,
thought it was fun.
and now you expel sulfur. So it just
Yep, yes. Well, there you go.
circle of life.
Yeah.
I suppose.
This one's good too. This is from the Daily Echo in London, England. They got some real, the crooks over there are they're just regular
There's a
comics.
lot of crooks.
Oh, they get a good laugh. Broken prosthetic or stolen prosthetic arm was discovered in a second-hand shop.
Where's the drums?
Come on now.
Ba-da-doom.
That's
Second-hand shop.
in a second-hand shop. Yeah, that's what they call a pawn shop, I believe.
That's what you
Anyway.
call irony in England.
Yeah, I guess.
Anywhere.
And here's a headline from the Times Herald in Newburgh, New York. Now, that's where DJ Rick started this journey. That's where I was born, Newburgh, New York. But West Point cadets train for life in Iraq with weekend in New Jersey. And that says a lot about the Garden State itself, does it not?
We've cut basic training down to 3 days. Come on up.
All they need is a weekend in Jersey. They'll be fine in Baghdad.
If they can cross the street, you're good.
All I need is a cymbal.
Yeah, we
Work
do.
on that, Dave. We'll need a cymbal right here.
Snare and a cymbal, and I'll cue.
Yeah, you do the snare, I'll do the cymbal.
Yeah, tickle.
There you go.
Pretty rhythmic.
Anyways, I had a great time with you today.
I did too. I really enjoyed it.
This is something we can do again.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I don't know. I got to check with the union and see if you can afford, if I can afford you again.
Well, that's cool. We'll work that out.
I got rid of the
tonight.
union. We had a fly in here earlier, and he said, "This fly." I said, "Don't worry, it's union. We got to
We
keep."
can't, and I'm going to get a union lizard. And
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I do. I enjoyed it too, so I hope to be back.
We got some new stuff coming. The gecko? No, he's already contracted to Geico.
Geico, yeah.
He's in insurance.
But we're actually domesticating a chameleon that got in the house.
There you
I'm
go.
going to train him.
There you go.
And we put that little guy right there. He will take care of that fly, because that fly landed here 25 times, I
Hey,
counted.
if you train him well enough, he can run for Speaker of the House.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the job will be available soon.
I would vote on it. I would vote for
There
him.
you go.
I was thinking about peeing on somebody. I mean, I would vote for him.
There
So,
you go. All right, we got some other stuff coming up too. We're here on Tuned In TN. We're gonna do, we've got the rehearsal spot. That's a new show we're starting. We're gonna go do some interviewing and some recording of these local bands right where they rehearse,
okay.
in their garage or their attic, or
Nice.
in one case, we know a guy who dug a hole in the ground. He made a bomb shelter and he rehearses in there. But yeah, we're gonna go to all kinds of crazy places, and
That sounds very interesting.
I got Gabe's gonna go with us. Gabe's our videographer, Powerhouse Studios.
Wow,
But
okay.
yeah, he's gonna go with us too. Gabe's a little crazy too.
Yeah, I've met Gabe. And
yeah.
we got some nice pictures on the wall, courtesy of Gabe.
That's right. He does some
Very
great
nice
photography. Do you need any
photos, yes.
photography? GK Photography, Powerhouse Studios. Gabe Cordex. Give him a call.
Speaking of Bohemian Rhapsody.
And matter of fact, now, because he's gonna do the editing, he'll probably put his phone number up there, right, when it said that.
Just do a scroll.
Not
yeah.
that he's opportunist, mind you, but yeah.
But you got to jump on that, yeah.
Yeah. Any plans for Halloween tonight? What you doing?
Yeah, I thought about doing a pirate thing, and then I realized, no, I'm just not. I looked at downtown Cleveland, which is right here,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
For me, the COVID pandemic, it's kind of killed the spirit.
It's killed the spirit. There's,
Yeah.
it's not like it has been. It's like a walk by with businesses that are.
I saw these
You know.
Halloween candy chutes you can
They're
buy now.
shoots. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They're
You
like
give out
tubes.
candy from the second floor and it drops through a tube and, I don't know, hits the kid in the neck or something. I don't know.
treat.
Yeah.
Give it
trick or
5
treat. There you go.
seconds. 5 seconds. There you go.
And, there'll be warnings next year. Don't use the shoot. Kids put out eyes.
Yeah.
Next year they're all pirates.
COVID can travel through the chutes.
Oh yeah, COVID.
It's
can
now
travel
aerosolized and
shoot
sucks through the
it's
chutes.
shoot-borne.
Yes, shoot-borne.
That'll be the next thing.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised. It's killing the flu now, so.
Right. Next year's Halloween is going to depend on which one of the clowns gets into the White House this year,
Yeah,
I think.
you're probably right. And something I just heard today, another reason I think I'd just rather kind of have a chill Halloween night is that we've got the blue moon going on right now, the full moon, blue moon, and that's an extra moon. And
Yes.
1 year you're supposed to
Yeah.
have 12. We're
Yeah,
having,
we had
this is the
13.
13th, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
on
an omen.
Halloween. 1944 was the last time that happened.
Yeah, but it's some kind of omen in witchcraft, in
Yes, it is.
Wickham.
It's a
some
Wiccan
kind of
omen.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
don't know, it's-
Yeah, people
it's
get
not a good
crazy.
thing.
People get crazy with a normal
Yeah.
full moon, but
Yeah.
now it's Halloween. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought I noticed some excessive facial hair growth this morning. Maybe my werewolf is kicking in.
You
I
know,
don't
some people are
That's
going
supposed to be a full moon, but then I got married. They whacked me.
some.
Anyways, whoa, and there goes the chair. That
Break
was-
something over there.
I think I had a leak in my piston.
I think the omens.
Oh, and there goes the microphone.
I think the omens have
There goes
started.
Mike.
That's what I'm going home. That's what I'm doing.
I spoke of ill omens and Wiccans, and my microphone attacked me. Did you see that?
I'm going to go home and watch The Princess Bride. That's
There
what
you
I'm
go.
going to do.
I'm gonna go home and try out The Princess and the Pea. I don't know where that came from. That's a. Anyway.
Yeah, you get weird minds together, weird things happen.
Yes, so we talked, and I'm gonna go on a little bit here. We talked about doing a Saturday night, once a month show, get some of the folks from the Ocoee Theater Guild that we've
Yes.
worked with before, and actually, if you're out there in listener land and you wanna do something fun, we're trying to put together an improv group,
Yes.
that will come in here on our illustrious set, courtesy of DJ Rick. Anyway,
Right.
we're going to try and recreate a once-a-month Saturday Night Live thing,
Yes.
except we're not going to do it live right away.
Right.
Well, maybe.
No.
What do you think?
Well, I think, look, if you're out there and you
balls
want to
that
act,
big?
I think we had some good moments tonight. All right,
Yeah.
and neither myself nor Rick have any acting talent whatsoever.
I don't
Um,
even have a format for the show.
If you have any improv ability
Yes.
and you're in that, you're missing a Coy Theater Company because of all this, and there's been
A
no
lot
acting.
of us are missing it.
Come here and do. We didn't practice this.
Yeah.
This is just. And if you do this and you're an improviser, yes, man, I would
It's
love
fun.
it. Yeah,
It's
and this
fun.
is a great stage, great studio, great setup, and it could be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, that invite, I'd love to have that.
All right. Well, hit us up you can email us at studio@tunedinradio.us. Drop us a line, tell us, a little bit of your history or whatnot. We'll get back with you, and we'll probably just get together and have a meeting first, I'm thinking.
That would sound good.
And I'm thinking, let's just wait till January.
Mhm.
Holidays are done, all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, get a hold of us now so we can have say, an early January 1st meeting, come up with some ideas, get some stuff written.
Just have
and
a few.
hopefully we can do it in February,
Have
maybe
a few
March.
fun improv sessions, maybe. Just
Yeah,
sort
we'll
of
sit around and see what happens.
mess around, yes.
And we'll turn the camera on while it happens.
And that's typically when really good things happen.
Right.
Yep.
And
I
we'll
think so.
have Gabe hit the record button and we can edit that.
Well, I'm up for that kind of fun.
Right on.
Anytime.
All right. Well, John Erickson, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome back on our set anytime.
Thank you. I
And,
appreciate you having me here. It's
Right on.
been
DJ
fun.
Rick will be back with you next Saturday. Actually, you're probably seeing this on Sunday. We're recording it on Saturday, so I guess I should say we'll see you next Sunday, right around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to be releasing all the videos, and we'll be doing that once a week. We also have Monday night. Join us on Tuned In TN for the Hangout with Susan Hyder. That's a show about all things arts and crafts. And you can join us daily on the tunedinradio.us radio station. And got a lot of good shows, a lot of good stuff going on there. Check us out on Facebook at tunedinradio.us. We're in Cleveland, Tennessee. And other than that, have a fantastic weekend. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tell your friends about us. Thanks much, and we'll see you next week. Good job.
That was fun.